It's been rather an eventful last couple of days. I'll explain that in a moment. But as usual, we are rounding up the week with our cozy minimalist lifestyle chat. I am answering your questions. I've got some items from our last swap party to show you, some book talk, and as usual, your choice of 4 self-care missions this week inspired by you, my lovely subscribers. So if you're ready for all that, let's dive in. Diane in Denmark here, rah, rah, rah. I am a routines coach and I'm here this year to help you to simplify and to thrive. And we're looking at all aspects of things, housekeeping, looking after yourself, creating a life that you love and you don't want to run away from. And before we get into things today, as I said in the intro, it's been an eventful last couple of days. Our neighbours in Sweden had a garage fire, part of their house burned as well, and luckily nobody was hurt, only material damage. And by some miracle, our weekend cabins, you know, where we have a wooden house, wooden guest cabins, wooden deck, wooden fence, by some miracle, our house is completely unscathed. So I was over there, a quick lightning trip, to check out everything. Anyway, I'm back now and I wanted to check in with you as usual. So anyway, let's dive straight into it because I've got some items from the clothes swap, questions, and the 4 self-care missions because we've got to look after ourselves, okay? Because when life is a bit crazy, that is what keeps us from being swept up in the craziness. Here we go. Eyes down for a full house, and I hope you are fine and well today. And remember, these longer videos that I make, I would really encourage you to use the time to finish off your morning routine, maybe fold some laundry, do the dishes. Right, reading glasses on. First one is from Lynn in Michigan. She says, where can I get your timer? Mine has kicked the bucket and I really like yours. Okay, Lynn, I've got several timers. I have timers everywhere and I use the one on my phone and the one on my watch. But when I'm really wanting to get stuff done, I set a physical timer because that way I can't ignore it and I don't get sucked into notifications. And Lynn's referring to this one. It's a wind up timer. So you have to wind it all the way and then all the way back. So it doesn't use any batteries. Great if you've got kids, nobody's going to eat batteries or lick them or whatever kids do. And also if you've got kids, it's great because even if they don't know numbers, they can see the time counting down. You can say, oh, let's do a quick poopa, pick up and put away. Let's pick up all the toys that are on the floor before the timer goes off. I will say though, it's very noisy, which is great because you can't really ignore it. And the brand, remember, I don't do any affiliate links, no sponsored content, so remember to give me a like and subscribe for that. The brand is Westmark. It's kind of rubbed off now, which is German, if I remember correctly. You can find them online. I think I got mine on an online website. Next one is from Skromny Pani 23. How are you doing with empty nest syndrome now that your children have grown and flown? Has it been hard for you not having them at home anymore? Even though my kids have been on their own for several years now, I still miss them terribly, even though I have my own life. And I have to say, I don't know if I'm kind of heartless, but I don't kind of miss them on a day-to-day basis. And I think it's because my nature is I'm either on and off. And we message very often. I often send them little Facebook messenger messages and we keep in contact that way. And of course we see our kids quite often because they're only 20 minutes away or half an hour away in Copenhagen city. So quite often if I am in the city, we might meet up for a cup of coffee. So actually, no, and we've all got things going on in our lives. So I haven't had that, oh, I'm missing the kids. That's not really happened at all. Next one is 2 questions from on a similar theme. The first one is user NI9 blah 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 blah. I'm a mum of an almost toddler and my home is out of control. Any tips for struggling mums? And the second one is from Alicia Sharp. She says, I'm still having trouble getting to my zones each week. Weekly home blessing hour is going well and only spending 10 minutes. I have 9 children and there's always a lot going on. Am I a special case for needing more than 10 minutes? I just keep plugging along as I can and enjoy the phase of life I'm in. Even though I don't feel like I accomplish much, my husband encourages me and lets me know how the small stuff really does make a big difference and it all adds up. And rah to all of you who have got smaller kids. Yes, been there, done that. And I would really say to focus on what you can get done every day. Don't worry about the big picture. But again, it's setting the timer. If you've got kids, if you've got 9 kids, get them all helping, because so often I think as mums, we think, oh, we're always trying to help other people, help everybody else, or thinking, this was me, it was best done my way. But if you encourage the kids to help, get them on board from a really early age, picking up toys, putting things in the washing basket, helping you doing the laundry. And it may take a couple of minutes extra in the beginning, but you're really supporting them and showing that, yes, they can help you. And especially when you've got a lot of small kids at home, or even any kind of kids at home, it's really useful to do the poopa that I just mentioned with the timer. Set the timer and do a pick up and put away several times a day. After breakfast, everybody helps to pick up and put things away in the kitchen. After you've been doing some maybe homeschooling, everybody takes 5 minutes to put things away, put books away. Before lunch, the same thing again, 5 minutes, because it's just constantly picking up after yourselves. That's going to visually keep the decks clear. And that's one of my best tips. Whenever you're feeling overwhelmed, do poopas in each room. And that applies to even if you don't have kids, but if you're the type that tends to kind of dump things down, don't dump it down, put it away. And the other tip for struggling mums is making sure that you get in the self-care daily. And as usual, I've got tips for you. They're coming later in the video. Tips that don't take a lot of time, they don't take any thought or energy, but they're just going to give you that little boost during your day. Right, next one is from Mel P, and she is talking about decluttering. In my decluttering videos recently, I've mentioned that hubby and I were hoping at some point to move out of this big old house, and we're planning to move into an apartment in the centre of the city. And Mel P, she says, this morning I had a 15-yard dumpster brought to my house. I have it for 2 weeks and hope to declutter 50% of our house. Wow, okay. The only question I'm asking myself is, if I were moving, would I want to take this with me? And that's a great question to ask yourself, Mel P. And I would give you another couple of questions to ask yourself for anybody who's got a lot of clutter and you're just kind of holding on to it because you've got the space to hold on to it. I know a lot of you ask the question, would I pay to have somebody move this item to a new place? Maybe the financial thing, maybe that will help you. And the question that I'm asking myself right now is, will this fit into our new apartment? Will this fit into our new home? Because even recently I've been thinking, oh, I've got boxes of Lego and I don't want to declutter the Lego, but I don't need to keep so much of the Lego. So I'm probably going to keep smaller boxes of Lego that will fit into an apartment that don't need to be kept in a basement, and declutter the other parts of the Lego. And if you're thinking about, oh, that you might miss an item, is it something that you can perhaps borrow from a friend? Because I've decluttered a lot of things like extra garden furniture and garden tools, because if I need it, I can always borrow something from a friend. Question from Veronica Misikova, and she says, Diane, she's asking me about my swimming. I've mentioned that I go to swimming classes, and I'm now taking fear of water swimming classes with my friend Coach Sue. She says, what is this fear of water you talk about? You clearly swim every day, don't you? In the sea, even competing. Yes, I'm an ice swimmer, competing at the World Championships several times over. I don't understand how you can swim daily while being scared of water. I'd love it if you could share a bit more. Well, Veronica, and for other people who have asked, when I was small, I think I must have been 9 or 10 years old, I was at the swimming pool and was all ready for my swimming lesson. And Mum was there on the side, and I was kind of jumping off the steps at the side of the swimming pool, and I had a rubber ring around me. And I jumped in, and I managed to kind of get in head first. And because I was so small and skinny, like a stick, and because I had the rubber ring around me, my head was down, my legs were up in the air, and I couldn't turn myself the right way. And I didn't know what was happening. Obviously, I'm panicking, and Mum tells me that the swimming teacher was coming along to give me a swimming lesson, saw what was happening, and she had to jump in with all her clothes on and save me. And to this day, I still get that kind of panicky feeling sometimes, if I'm in the water and I can swim underwater. I've learnt to kind of overcome my fears in that way, but I still get that kind of panicky way if something happens, or if somebody is very near to me. If I'm swimming backstroke and there's suddenly somebody there in the lane, I still get that fear. So I've moved into Sue's fear of water class, and I'm learning so much. And I've still, and we've all got different fears of water. Some people have never been out of their depth before, but they're jumping in. And Sue is really the most fantastic coach. So that's why I'm doing that. And I've really come far with my fears. I'm able to jump in, and I'm also learning how to dive in head first. I can now do a handstand in the water, the somersaults or something else. But anyway, it's all good. So that is why I'm in the fear of water class. So do you have a fear of water? Are you like a fish in water? But hey, I'm always learning something new at the age of 56. Right, last one, which is from Carol, which fits very nicely into my clothes swap items. Carol says, hi there from Texas, wondering what happens if two ladies want the same item at the swap party. Does it ever get a little spicy? Grateful for you, Diane, always so encouraged. Okay, and also a question from Lee, who asks, what happens to the leftover items at the swap? Okay, so the leftover items at the swap, as I've mentioned many times, anything that we don't take home from our swap parties, we bag it all up and we take it to the charity shop. The books usually go to our free book exchange, any kind of kids games, crafty things. Often the ladies will take that and give it to schools. Sports equipment, that often goes to the schools as well. So everything that we don't take from the swap is passed on to somebody else. So nothing is wasted. And Carol from Texas, who asks, does it ever get a little spicy if two ladies want the same thing? No, nobody's ever fighting over things. Let me just grab the items that I did get this time. This is the bag that I take to the swap. This is the one that lives in the bottom of my wardrobe. So anytime I find something that I'm not using or loving, that could be jewellery, gently used makeup, it goes straight into the bag. And last winter, there was a swap and Sue took this sweater, short sleeve, nice blue colour, very high, roll neck. And I said, oh, I really like that one. When you're finished with it, I'm next in line. And often that is what will happen. I'll take something and somebody else say, oh, that's really nice, Diana. If you don't like it, I'm next in the queue. And so when we come back to the next swap or in a couple of months, often people say, oh, this is for you and this is for somebody else. So there's a lot of swapping internally. Nobody's ever fought over an item. So what did I bring home? Okay, so I got a running top. I've now started running again. I'm back on the running game in the mornings. So this really nice running top, I like the colours. And last year, was it 2 years ago, I got some running shorts, some Nike running shorts. And I'm really enjoying these when it's really hot for running. So I'm actually going to see if I can track down a pair online. I would like to get a new pair. But these are ones that came for a swap. And it was the kind of thing I would never have bought in a shop. But they've kind of got the shorts and then the undershorts. So you never know what you're going to find at the swap, and because often you can try things that you'd never thought of trying before. And some things work, some things don't work. I also came home with this lovely Zara blouse. Isn't that beautiful? And I'm thinking it'd be really nice underneath a sweater or just with a white pair of trousers. Another white item, very soft and lovely white vest. Oversize. I'll see how I get on with that. That might be nice for this season. And one more, another one, a winter white cashmere sweater, still with the tags on from Bloomingdale's cashmere. So I'm really looking forward to wearing that when it cools down in the autumn. And as usual, the food was fabulous. That's one of the highlights of us having these swap parties. Have I inspired you to hold your own swap party? I know many of you have started holding your own ones. And Shalini had made gazpacho, and it was a really hot and sunny day in Copenhagen. So it was really kind of hot trying on the cashmere sweater, things like that. But I made my Swedish fishwife's cake. If you want to have the recipe for that, super simple. So my recipes and crafts playlist. We had homemade cake, homemade breads. Erica had made the Jennifer Aniston salad. So it was just a fabulous, fabulous time. And let me give you a quick update on the books I'm reading, because I've also had 4 questions about books in this past week. And then I will give you your choice of 4 self-care missions provided by you, my lovely subscribers. And I'll tell you where we're going to be cleaning and organising next week. I made a video at the summer house, so you'll get a little tour of that. Anyway, 4 questions that came in about books. One is from Nicholas Scott. When do you find time to read so many books? I work full-time, drive a commute, and sort of manage the house at weekends. But beyond that, I'm exhausted. How can I structure to have time for myself that isn't collapsing into sleep? Next one, Bonnie. Enjoying the book recommendations. I was curious how much time you spend reading. Nanu647. She writes it in French. Une question, à quel moment écoutes-tu les audiobooks? Ça me plairait bien, mais je ne vois pas quand le faire. En promenade, en cuisinant, peut-être. And she's saying, when do you listen to audiobooks? I would like to do that, but I don't know when to do it. Walking, maybe cooking. And last question about books is from Sheba Pen. Sheba from Kerala in India. You really motivate me to get off my bahuki. Yay, rah, 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 Sheba. I just wanted to know, do you read every day? When do you get time to read? I have been struggling to find the time to read. Okay, so you can see there's a kind of theme to all these questions. I read every single day, and I'll tell you the kind of main times that I will read. I read every night just before I switch off the lights in bed. So and even if it's just 5 minutes, it's just enough to help me switch off from my day before I switch off the light. And it helps kind of clear my head of any kind of worries and all those thoughts that I can have tumbling in my head. So I will always read just before I switch off the light. So I'm reading in bed. I will often read a chapter of my book while I'm eating my lunch. Instead of starting to just do that doom scrolling on my phone, sometimes I'll say to myself, okay, I can check notifications, but first I've got to read a chapter, and often that's an easy way to get into it. So think about that. The next time that you start doom scrolling on your phone, can you maybe turn to a book instead? And also I use the audiobooks as a way to get out of the monotony of working through my morning routine or doing some cleaning. I put on my audiobook or a podcast or music. And, often if I'm working in the garden, I'll set a timer for 15 minutes and I'll listen to the audiobook. So look for ways where you can actually put it into your day, because if you're waiting for the opportunity to present itself, you know what happens, that is not going to happen. So tag it onto something that you're doing, that you're already doing just before you go to bed, or when you're doing the dishes, you could be listening to an audiobook, and make it happen. Carve out time for it. And an update on the books that I'm reading at the moment. I've just finished the Anthony Horowitz, Close to Death. Loved it. I love his books. 5 out of 5 stars. And I'm really enjoying the Of Hoaxes and Homicide, the Dear Miss Hermione mystery. That's really good as well. So those are the 2 which I've been reading this week. Right, are you ready for your self-care missions? Because as I said in the Q&A, if you're feeling overwhelmed, getting bogged down with stuff, you're probably not getting in the self-care daily. And here come 4 fantastic tips from you, my lovely subscribers. Remember to like, subscribe, share the video, blah, 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 blah. Okay, the first one is from Scromny Panny. My self-care for this week is scheduling a coffee date with a friend, as well as doing some kind of cultural event to stay mentally stimulated. I love that. So it's the mix of doing something social with a friend, but also a cultural event to keep your mind going. And last week with my bestie Erica from America, usually we meet up on Thursdays, which is called Little Friday here in Denmark. And we went to Thorvaldsen's statue museum here in Copenhagen, and they had a really fun thing which was called Statue Bingo. And it was just such a fun event because we learned a lot about the statues at the museum and statues around the world, and it was just fun to do something cultural but fun. So that's mission number 1. And remember to let me know down below, are you going to do 1, 2, 3 or 4? Maybe all 4 of them. Okay, the next one is from DC4651. Thank you, Diane, for the inspiration motivation. You are very welcome. My self-care mission is some cooking, making a pot of soup for my soul. Oh, I love that. Maybe if you are in the northern hemisphere right now, where we're in summer, maybe make some nice cold soup for yourself, gazpacho, cooking something for yourself, maybe something healthy, nourishing. That's mission number 2. Mission number 3, Helen Murphy. My DIY self-care is going for a sea swim this evening. Lovely way to wash away the day. Thanks for the videos. Your endless enthusiasm really helps me get going. Yay! Thank you, Helen. And Helen, I love that idea of having the kind of evening swim. And I want you to think about your exercise. Maybe you always do it at a certain time of day. Maybe you want to change that up, try something different. As I said, I'm back on the running thing again. I've been going running first thing as soon as I get out of bed, and I'm not running far or running fast, but it's just been a nice way to shake things up and try something different. Try a different form of exercise or try it at a different time of day and change things up. And then mission number 4 is from Marjolein in Holland. She says, my little hygge tip would be in contact with your plants. How are they doing? Do they need water to be repotted? And I think that's a lovely idea, because often just that contact with earth, just buying some new herbs for your kitchen. It's like connecting with animals. It's just connecting with the earth. That's a lovely self-care idea. I had an oregano plant that was in the kitchen, and now I've planted it outside. And when I'm outside, you know, hanging up my laundry or whatever it is, I just kind of rub the herbs. I've got oregano, I've got thyme, I've got mint, and it's just, you know, when I walk past, I just rub the plants and self-care right there. And let's not forget about the housekeeping. This week we've been working in Flylady Zone 4, the bedroom. I made a little quick short video at the beginning of the week showing you what I was decluttering in Flylady Zone 4. I hope you saw that. Next week we are moving into Flylady Zone 5, the living room. And as I said, I had to dash over to Sweden to check on our house, which miraculously survived after the fire. And I thought, oh, it's been a while since I've shown you the summer house, so I'll put together that video I filmed so you get a little tour of our quaint Swedish cabin, and I did a bit of decluttering there, so hopefully that will motivate you to declutter something as well. Anyway, I'm going to have a cup of tea. I think I'm going to read a chapter of my book before I get back to work today, because as I said, it's just been a bit of a crazy week, but all is well. The neighbours are fine, nobody was hurt, so all well and good. You may want to check your smoke alarms, fire alarms and fire extinguishers, just a wee FYI. So see you next week. Hope you have a fabulous weekend. Let me know what you're going to be doing for the self-care. All I've got left to say is live long and prosper. May the cozy lifestyle minimalist hygge chat be with you. And I'll see you next week with a rah, rah, rah. Okay, bye for now.